So simple tutorial.
यदि आपके अंगूठे में दर्द है, यदि आपको लाइक, शेयर या सब्सक्राइब करने में कष्ट होता है, तो मान्यवर ये वीडियो आपके लिए नहीं है। आपसे विनम्र निवेदन है कि आप इसे छोड़कर जा सकते हैं।
Good morning students, welcome to SST. So simple tutorial. Today I am here to do one short revision of the lesson The Story of Village Palampur. I hope you have already read your book and are ready for the revision. So let's begin with the factors of production. Factors of production is a term that describes the inputs used in the production of goods and services to make an economic profit. There are students four requirements for the production of goods and services. They are land, labor, physical capital and human capital. The first requirement is land. Land is an important factor of production, as no production activity can take place in the absence of land. You want to do farming. Where shall you do it? You need land, isn't it? You want to set up an industry. Where shall you do it? Again, you need land. Okay. But when we say land, it does not mean the land surface only. It also includes other gifts of nature. But mind you, these resources must be amenable to human control. That means people should be able to control its supply. Consider factors like sunlight or rainfall. Are they under human control? I think no. They are beyond human control, hence cannot be covered under land. Take another example, coal. Coal is a natural resource. It is also a gift of nature, but its supply can be regulated. We can mine any targeted amount of coal when needed, so it will come under land. Similarly, rivers, forests, minerals, all are included under land. So land is not simply land, it is so land is not simply land, it is an umbrella term which covers a broad category of things. Understood? The second requirement is labor, that is the people who will do the work. It includes both physical and mental effort exerted for the purpose of producing a good or service. Some production activities require highly educated workers to perform the necessary tasks. For example, people working in Silicon Valley and designing softwares, doctors treating patients, doing surgery. All these needs educated and skilled people. Other activities require workers who can do manual work. This is visible everywhere. You must have observed this on the way to school or back. Laborers engage in making roads or a building doing just physical labor. Each worker is providing the labor necessary for production. But a word of caution here. Only human labor is considered in this context. The third requirement is physical capital or simply capital. It is the variety of inputs required at every stage during production. Physical capital can be divided into fixed capital and working capital. What are the items that come under each capital? Let us see. Fixed capital first. Tools, machines, buildings, etc. come under fixed capital. Tools and machines includes very simple tools such as a farmer's plow to sophisticated machines such as generators, turbines, computers, etc. All these items can be used in production over many years and so are called fixed capital. Next, working capital. It includes raw materials and money in hand. See, production requires a variety of raw materials such as the yarn used by the weaver, such as the clay used by the potter. Also, some money is also required during production to make payments and buy other necessary items. For example, the farmer may need money to buy fertilizers and pesticides. Unlike tools, machines and buildings, these are used up in production. For example, the clay of potter or the yarn used by the weaver is gone. They exist no more to be used again. The money that was used for buying pesticides has gone with the crop. The fourth requirement is human capital. Human capital is the knowledge and enterprise required to put together land, labor, and physical capital and produce an output, either for self use or to sell in the market. See, everything cannot happen by itself. There should be someone to initiate in the production process. There must be someone who will hire workers, who will rent the land, who will arrange the capital, and thus organize the whole production process. So, this is all about the factors of production. Let me introduce you to the village called Palampur. The title of the lesson itself is The Story of Village Palampur. It is an imaginary village. The purpose of this lesson, students, is to introduce some basic concepts relating to production through Palampur. Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. About 75% of the people are dependent on farming for their livelihood. This 75% includes farmers as well as farm laborers. The rest 25% are engaged in activities other than farming, such as small scale manufacturing, dairy, transport, etc. But they are carried on a limited scale. Raiganj is a big village, 3 kilometers from Palampur, and Shahpur is the nearest town. Palampur is well connected with them through all weather roads. All weather road means concrete roads or those made of bitumen of coal. Such roads do not go out of use in the rainy season. Many kinds of transport can be seen plying on the roads. One can see bullock carts, tongas, or bogies carrying jaggery or other commodities. One can also find motor vehicles like motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, and trucks on roads. This village has about 450 families belonging to several different castes. The 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. Some of them have houses made of brick with cement plastering. The scheduled castes comprise one third of the population. They live in one corner of the village. Their houses are much smaller, made of mud and straw. Unlike most villages, electricity has reached this village, and most of the houses have electric connections. Electricity is used to run tube wells in the fields, which is why they are able to grow 3 crops a year. Palampur has two primary schools and one high school. There is a primary health center run by the government and one private dispensary where the sick are treated. So, students, what impression do you form about this village? I'm sure you'd say it is a developed village. This was a general description of the village. Let us now discuss the first factor of production, land in Palampur. Farming is the main economic activity in Palampur. 75% of the people who are working are dependent on farming for their livelihood. These people could be farmers or farm laborers. The well being of these people is closely related to the production on the farms. Land area under cultivation is fixed in Palampur. It is said that there has been no expansion in the land area under cultivation since 1960. Whichever land that could be converted to the cultivable land is done. Now there is no scope of bringing any new land under cultivation. In Palampur, all land is cultivated. No land is left idle. They make use of every bit of land available to them. Understood? Okay. Let us now see what crops are grown there. During the rainy season, farmers grow jowar and bajra. They don't eat them. These plants are used as cattle feed. Between October and December, they grow potatoes. In the winter season, fields are sown with wheat. This is the main crop. From the wheat produced, farmers keep enough wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus wheat at the market in Raniganj. Besides, sugarcane is also grown. Sugarcane in its raw form is sold to the traders in Shahpur. Some of them process sugarcane to jaggery and sell jaggery. So we find that they are able to grow 3 crops a year. Almost all farmers grow at least two main crops. Some of them also go for the third one, and that is potato. Now the question is, what made this possible? This was due to the well developed system of irrigation. Early on, they used Persian wheels to draw water from the wells for irrigating their lands. Ever since electricity came to Palampur, they switched over to electric run tube wells. By the mid 1970s, the entire cultivated area was irrigated. Let us now discuss, is there any way one can grow more from the same land? This is a valid question today since land area is fixed everywhere. One way of increasing production on a given piece of land is multiple cropping. This is what was practiced in Palampur. So, what is multiple cropping? Growing more than one crop on a piece of land during a year is called multiple cropping. In Palampur, they never kept the land idle. They kept growing crops one after the other. The other way is to use modern farming methods for higher yield. What is yield? Yield is the measure of how much is the crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. Let us now see how is the traditional method of farming different from the modern methods. 1. The seeds used in traditional cultivation were traditional ones, which have relatively low yields. Modern methods use high yield variety seeds. HYV seeds produce a much greater amount of grains on a single plant. Naturally, this affects the output. 2. Farmers use cow dung and other natural manure as fertilizers. All these were readily available with the farmers, they did not buy them. In modern methods, chemical fertilizers are used. Third, methods of irrigation in traditional methods are older, using wells or tanks, which needs lot of labor. In modern methods, irrigation is done through tube wells, canals, or dams. Next, in traditional methods, bullocks are used for plowing the field, but now modern machines are used. You can see a tiller in the picture. This is connected on to the rear side of a tractor. As the tractor moves, the land gets tilled. Fifth, most of the manual labor used for various activities in traditional methods have been replaced by modern machinery in modern methods of farming. Let us now spare some time for the Green Revolution. You must have read this in your previous classes. The modern methods of farming, my dear students, is actually possible because of the Green Revolution which came to India in the late 1960s. It is the Green Revolution that introduced the Indian farmers cultivation of wheat and rice using HYV seeds. Green Revolution was introduced in India by M.S. Swaminathan. He is called the father of Green Revolution in India. He is very recently awarded Bharat Ratna, the highest civilian award of our country, in 2014. Green Revolution students solved the problem of food grain crisis in India. It made our country self-sufficient in the matters of food grains. You can see the table in the screen. Production of pulses and wheat. Here production of wheat is worth watching. From 10 million tons in 65-66 to 92 million tons in 2012-13. Fantastic. In Palampur also the change is visible. The yield of wheat grown from the traditional varieties was 1300 kg per hectare. With the HYV seeds, the yield went up to 3200 kg per hectare. Farmers now had greater amount of surplus wheat to sell in the markets. Let us now see the other side of the coin. Are there any negative effects of the Green Revolution? Scientific reports indicate that the modern farming methods have overused the natural resource base. Green Revolution is associated with the loss of soil fertility due to increased use of chemical fertilizers. Chemical fertilizers can also kill useful bacteria and micronutrients present in the soil. Chemical fertilizers present in the soil after what is absorbed by the plants may seep down the soil and pollute groundwater, rivers or lakes. Due to continuous drawing of water from tube well for irrigation, water table has gone down. If you see from the poor farmer's side, green revolution is not suitable to them as it requires huge amount of capital. Environmental resources, dear students, like soil fertility and groundwater are built up over many years. Once destroyed, it is very difficult to restore them. We must take care of the environment to ensure future development of agriculture. Let us now come to the how is land distributed in Palampur. Palampur, as we have already read, has about 450 families. Does everyone has land for cultivation there? Sadly, no. Out of 450 families, one third are landless and most of them are Dalits. So 150 families have no land to cultivate. Okay. How many families left? 300. Out of 300, 240 families cultivate less than 2 hectares of land. This land size is too small. Cultivation of such plots do not bring adequate income to the farmer's family. Look at this picture on the screen. We can see the large number of small plots scattered around the village. Those seem to be less than 2 hectare plots. They are cultivated by the small farmers. On the other hand, more than half of the area of village is covered by plots that are quite large. There are 60 families of medium and large farmers who cultivate more than 2 hectares of land. Of these, some large farmers have land measuring 10 hectares or more. This is how land is distributed in Palampur. We can say therefore land is distributed unevenly in Palampur. So let us start with labor. Who provides labor in Palampur? Since farming is the main activity in Palampur, we are interested only in the labor for farming. Farming, as you know, students, requires a great deal of hard work. We will first discuss farm laborers in Palampur, then small farmers, and then medium and large. Okay, farm laborers come either from landless families or families cultivating small plots of land. They are paid wages by the farmer or the landowner for whom they work. Wages are paid in cash, sometimes in kind also. In rural areas, farmers keep a considerable stock of food grains with them. Laborers also prefer payment in wheat, rice, gram, good, etc. That is what is called payment in kind. Sometimes laborers get meals also. Wages vary widely from region to region, from crop to crop, from one farm activity to another. That means for sowing something and for harvesting something else. There is a wide variation in the duration of employment also. A farm laborer might be employed on daily basis or for one particular farm activity like harvesting. Some are employed for the whole year. It depends upon the need of the employer. In your book, there is a story of Dala. Dala is a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages in Palampur. What wage does Dala get? 80 rupees only. This sounds too less, isn't it? Students, actually, the number of days available to a worker in rural areas is shrinking these days. Large farmers who used to hire them for work are increasingly relying on machines like tractors, threshers, and harvesters. So, there is a heavy competition for work among the farm laborers in Palampur. Hence, people agree to work for lower wages. In fact, students, you will find that when jobs are less and job seekers are more, this happens. Now, small farmers. The small farmers, along with their families, cultivate their own fields. Their land area is small, so they don't need to hire laborers. Thus, they themselves provide the labor required for farming. It is the medium and large farmers who hire farm laborers to work in their fields. Let us now see the next topic, the capital needed for farming. We have already seen that modern farming methods require a great deal of capital. So, the farmers now needs more money than before. Most small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. They borrow from large farmers or the village money lenders or the traders who supply various inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans is generally very high. This is a problem area. In contrast to the small farmers, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. Thus, they find no problems to arrange for the capital needed. Dear students, now think that wheat is harvested and the production is done. What do the farmers do with their harvest? They keep a part of the wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus wheat. Surplus means a quantity or amount more than what is required. Okay. Small farmers have little surplus because their total production is small, and from this, a substantial share is kept for their own family needs. So, it is the medium and large farmers who supply wheat to the market. The traders at the market buy the wheat and sell it further to shopkeepers in the towns and cities. This is how a large farmer has a good earning. They keep this money in the banks as savings. They don't need to borrow from someone for the working capital in the next season. They use these savings whenever required. They may use this money to buy capital, say tractor, for the next season. They may also use this saving for lending to the small farmers who need loans. We know that farming is the main economic activity of Palampur. We have discussed everything land, labor, and capital through the story of Palampur. To discuss the non-farm activities of Palampur. Okay, 75% of people in Palampur are engaged in farming. The rest 25% are engaged in non-farming activities like dairy, small-scale manufacturing, shopkeeping or transport. Let us look at them one by one. First, dairy. I hope all of you understand what dairy means. Dairy refers to milk and food products made from milk like curd, cheese, butter, etc. Dairy is a common activity in many families of Palampur. People have kept buffaloes. They already have enough jowar, bajra, and other kinds of grasses to feed the animals. They sell milk in Raiganj, the nearby large village. Then in Shahpur, there are two traders who have set up a collection cum chilling centers at Raiganj, from where milk is transported to faraway towns and cities. Next is small scale manufacturing. At present, less than 50 people are engaged in manufacturing in Palampur. They do not have big production units. Manufacturing is carried out mostly at home or in fields with the help of family labor on a small scale, which does not require hiring of laborers. There is an example of Mishri Lal who produces jaggery, that is gur. Mishri Lal has purchased a mechanical sugarcane crushing machine. He has set up this machine in his field. Besides using his own sugarcane, he also buys sugarcane from other farmers to make jaggery. The jaggery is then sold to traders at Shahpur. Thus, Mishri Lal is able to make a small profit. The third is shopkeeping. There are not many shopkeepers in Palampur. Actually, the traders of Palampur are shopkeepers who buy various goods from wholesale markets in the cities and sell them in the village. This is actually a general scene in the villages. You will see many small general stores selling a wide range of items like rice, wheat, sugar, tea, oil, biscuits, soap, toothpaste, batteries, candles, even notebooks, pen, pencil. Even some sell clothes. Few families whose houses are close to the bus stand have used a part of the space to open small shops. They sell eatables. This is also a very common scene in many places. Near the bus stops, you will find small shops selling tea, samosa, and other eatables. There's one more story of Kareem. In recent years, many students have been attending college in Shahpur town. Kareem found that several students from the village are also attending computer classes in the town. There were two women in the village who had a degree in computer applications. So Kareem opened a computer class center in the village. He employed both these women. He bought computers and set up the classes. High school students and then started attending them in good numbers. Lastly, transportation. In the very first class, we had discussed that they have very good roads and varieties of vehicles are seen plying on these roads. We can consider all these people, rickshawala, tangawala, jeep, tractor, truck drivers, and people driving the traditional bullock carts and bogies engaged in transport services. They carry passengers and goods from one place to another and in return get paid for it. There is one more story of Kishora. Kishora is a farm laborer. Kishora found it difficult to meet his family's needs from the wages that he received. See, the government runs many programs to help landless poor households by giving them cheap loans. Kishora took a loan from the bank under such a scheme. He bought a buffalo with this money. He now sells milks. In addition to this, he has attached a wooden cart to his buffalo and uses it to transport various items. Once a week, he goes to the river Ganga to bring black clay for the potter. This is how Kishora supplements his income. Kishora is now able to earn more than what he used to do some years back. With this, we come to an end of the one short revision of this lesson. If you find this video useful, then please like, share and subscribe this channel. In the next class, we will meet with some new lesson. Till then, enjoy reading and have a nice time. Thank you.